Alright, hey everyone. So in this video, I want to talk about the #1 draft pick this year in the WNBA, and that was Aliyah Boston from South Carolina. She was drafted by the Indiana Fever, and something that I noticed a couple weeks ago about her is definitely her birthday that stands out, December 11th, 2001. Well, knowing that she was drafted by the state of Indiana, you got to look at Indiana's statehood, and whenever they were admitted as a state, she shares the same birthday as the state of Indiana. You can notice they were admitted on December 11th, 1816. So if you do the difference between 2001 and 1816, it's 185 years that she was born later from the statehood, right? So how perfect is that? Because 185 basketball equates to 185, and again, she's a basketball player, drafted #1 by the Indiana Fever. And just to add on to that, just talking about her last name being Boston, I noticed Boston also has the 85 and 22, just like basketball, 85 and 22 in the same ciphers. So, perfect pick for Indiana, and, it's all by design. And I want to show you a little tribute that they did to her yesterday's game, May 28th, against the Atlanta Dream. They upset the Dream, which we had on Patreon. And the reason I saw that is because Indiana Fever, had they won that game, they picked up their 141st all-time away win, while her name, Aliyah Boston, equates to 141. And then notice again how the 185 kind of plays here in reverse, because this was a Commissioner's Cup game, and by winning yesterday, the Fever became 5-18 in Commissioner Cup games all time. Kind of like 185, and it had her alignment with the 141, and I'm like, well, remember that she was born exactly 185 years later after the state of Indiana. So, I mean, no coincidence there. So that's why we nailed the game, the upset yesterday. And, another thing I want to point out is, I didn't put a picture on here, but you can look at it. Aliyah Boston for South Carolina, she used to wear the number 4, and now for the Fever, she wears the number 7. And, of course, Indiana equals 47. And Indiana also equates to 34. I want to put this in there as well because they have a player for the Fever who played for the Indiana Hoosiers, and now she plays for Indiana Fever, Indiana native here, and she wears the number 34, just like how Indiana equates to 34, and her name's Grace Berger. So if you look up her birthday, it's June 3rd, and I also got to point out that that's the day leaving 211 days left in the year, when 211 is the 47th prime number, again, like Indiana. And even for Aliyah, if you take her first name, she also carries the 34, like Indiana. And notice the 56 and 29 with just her name Aliyah, because Fever also equates to 56 and 29. And, even their new head coach that they got this year, Christy Sides, her surname, Sides, carries the 56 and 79 and 34. 34 like Indiana, but 79 and 56, again, like Fever, 79 and 56. So, I mean, they're pretty loaded with the gematria names and all that as their players and coach. But anyways, I just wanted to share that about Aliyah Boston and how perfect of a player she is to play for Indiana. All right, see ya.